can say I didn't try. I played through that entire section of the game twice just to see if I could. The only other way I could have done it, is if I would have literally had a save from like the beginning of the third semester and then like did it. Like that's the only other way I can see myself having actually been able to do it.
What? You did it twice. Is it like set? Did it just both times not work, or is it?
Well, no, it's the first time I did Haru. I got her maxed out and I got her stuff settled, but then I saw that I couldn't finish Sumire, and Sumire was the one that we were going to finish because she's the new character. So I wanted to make sure I got Sumire done, but it didn't end up working out. Let's see if I can throw a color on you. There you go.
Oh hell yeah.
There you go.
Oh shit, you got your bike here too. Yeah,
we got the bike. Hey guys, what's going on? We're here playing some tabletop simulator, looking into the new 5DARPS room. Still salty over some Persona 5 Royal. Man, I'm hoping that I don't. Oh, it's so good. It's such a good game. One day.
Closed your eyes. It was never real.
All we needed was one day. If I would have knew this was gonna happen. And again, we're not gonna talk too much Persona 5. If I would have knew this was gonna happen, then I would have taken one of the days from early on in the third semester that like I used to like, I don't know, like get the third awakening for like Yusuke's Persona or something, and I would have hung out with Haru. Like that. It's so bad that is the easiest thing that could have possibly happened. But no, it just the game was like, hey man,
world now, it's fine.
We're in a different world now. Everything's fine.
We're in a world where we have cards and we are motorcycles as well.
Exactly. Absolutely, positively. With all that being said, my dudes, we are going to talk today about some new stuff we have going on with the 5DARPS room, some new cards that potentially we have. I'm going to also show off the stuff that we had already shown off over at the Patreon, and potentially make some new Patreon stuff later on today, to throw onto a new Patreon post, maybe even a poll, because somebody had mentioned a poll at one point. That would be pretty interesting. So like maybe we'll do that. I don't know. 5DARPS room stuff reveals. Ignore me if you dare. Perfect.
There we go.
I have put more effort in that schedule chat announcement that I've done in like any of them.
This is the most effort you've done. Now you're going to pass out.
Yep, I'm leaving now. I'm out.
Peace.
But yes, last time we were here, I don't know if you saw it last time, FOML, but the last time we were here, we showed off some new cards. We showed off Apollo over here. We showed off the legend little thing here that is going to be our forbidden and limited list kind of thing. I can explain that to you because I don't think I did explain it to you guys yet. But in the Rush Duel thing, which is one of the new mechanics in Yu-Gi-Oh, they're allowing stuff like Pot of Greed and stuff like that to come back.
Oh man!
But they're calling them legend cards. And you can only have one legend card in your deck. So you can only have like one Pot of Greed. And I think like Blue Eyes is also a legend card in Rush Duel stuff. So like you can either have a Blue Eyes or a Pot of Greed, that kind of thing, right? It's going to be a little bit different with this because obviously there's way more cards and way more different things, and we're not limiting Blue Eyes. But it's going to be slightly different, but kind of basically you can only if there's something as a legend card, you can only have one of it in your deck. And if something is I'm also gonna make like another thing, and if that is a thing, is it gonna have like a little F on there if there's like a forbidden card or something? If something is forbidden, you can only have one forbidden card in your entire deck, kind of thing. So like it is technically the forbidden and limited list kind of thing.
We've made our own forbidden list. That hasn't even been like 5 minutes.
Well, it's like I want to make sure to do it for like, you know, game clairvoyance, because like last time in regular DARP, whenever they got like stuff like pot of greed and stuff like that, I'm like, oh, you can have one of those, but like there was nothing that said you can only have one of those. It was just me saying you can only have one of those. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course, of course.
So like that was kind of the thing there. Um, you hear a FOML? Yep, FOML is here with us today. We have one of the players doing some stuff today. Um, we can potentially talk about some things with that. However, there are a couple of things I'd like to show off that potentially have to do with some of the cards that may or may not be going to Miss FOML here.
Yeah,
Um,
man.
Last time as well, we showed off this card, which is the Heroic Legacy Fuma, which is a sort of nod to Getsu Fuma, the NPC character from the original DARP, from the warring world, where she was like trying to fight off against the undead and the fiends. Um, and she looking pretty cute. It's like supposed to be like a younger version of her that Kerbozy had made. Kerbozy's really neato. And we had also shown off two other ones, but again, only on the Patreon. So I'm wanting to show off those two today before we get too far into this. Gonna show off two more of those things. We didn't really
Sure.
have a absolute like big um setup for everything as of right yet. So there's not today's stream is gonna be a little bit more just kind of ad lib. I may show off more stuff. I may show off less stuff than last time. We have a couple weeks until game actually happens, so we'll see. I made quite a few things though. So Kerbozy also have made two other ones that go with the Heroic Legacy cards. The Getsu the Fuma is good. Fuma's pretty neato, but we also have Heroic Legacy Strider. Look at that
There's the
boy.
boy.
Look at that boy. He's the one who was like trying to be the new hero after a certain Magnus boy got himself killed.
He's killed, yeah. After he got himself Nene, you know, Spellstrider was like, all right, my turn now. If it fits, I sits.
If it fits, I sits. But yeah, we have him as a new Heroic Legacy card. Again, people who saw the Patreon post would have already seen the art for this, but they wouldn't have seen the actual card. Heroic Legacy Strider, you take no battle damage involving attacks with this card. If this card is in your hand or graveyard, you can target one face-up spell card on your side of the field and banish it to special summon this card. If summoned this way, this card may attack your opponent's life points directly. You can only use the effects of Heroic Legacy Strider once per turn. So basically, he is a tuner that can summon himself out, special summon himself out. If you don't want to use him for tuner stuff, he can attack directly. He's a pretty strong boy. He's a pretty strong card. And the big thing is, it says graveyard there for like being able to bring him out. If you like synchro with him, like if you go like, I'm gonna freaking do a synchro and you bring him out, basically the big thing that Kerbozy and I were thinking about to limit this card is probably make it to where he comes back at the end of the turn, or maybe you special summon him at the start of the next turn or something like that. I don't know yet if we're gonna be doing that, but because all these cards are still work in progresses, right? But
Yeah.
these are how the effects would be somewhat in the game. So they're not fully done yet, but this is the kind of the gist of how Heroic Legacy Strider would work. Because obviously a synchro or a tuner monster that can summon itself from the graveyard is definitely a very high risk card to put in a game for balancing sake. I don't want you guys to all be like, we need 3 of him in all of our decks.
Here you go, limited 1.
Well, like I could. Here's the thing. The one thing I could do is just make him limited, obviously. But you know, make him
also
into.
just avoid that.
Yeah, I could just make him into a legend card if I really wanted to. But at the same time, you know, I could just kind of link him for a bit. I could just kind of nerf him for a little bit. And we have one other Heroic Legacy card to show. We have
I can't do the drum roll. Whatever.
The final of them that have been made so far. I believe that Krobozy wants to make a couple more. I don't know if he's going to or not. We don't really have like a full like thing with it yet, like anything like that. Like there's not any big plans for like any big things with it. But here is the last one. We made 3 of them, and here is Heroic Legacy Vamp. We did it. This is Vampire Vamp, the other NPC, because all 3 of these were NPCs in the Warring Lands, the Warring area. Vamp was of course the daughter of Vampire Genesis. She was also very instrumental to the party and in certain scenarios. Also wanted to kidnap Ryan Peace, but you know, whatever. If this card was sent to the graveyard for a synchro summon, this turn, you can banish this card and 1 monster in your graveyard. During your next standby phase, special summon this card if it was banished by this effect. So basically, you know, hey, synchro summon with her, summon her back later. Kind of the same general effect that that we have for Strider. But she is gonna be a little bit different. Again, the card text for this one is not entirely like done as well, just like all the other ones. But yeah, you can see how certain things are gonna go with these. Like there are a lot of banishing effects with each of these cards. So potentially like using certain things that get back banished cards or like things like that would really work with these guys. Yeah, Krobozy, we're showing these boys off.
Yeah.
The only
really good art, by the way.
The only one's effect that I think is really going to stick the way it is probably Fuma's. Fuma has a very strong battling effect. I think that that hers is going to be the one that actually sticks as far as everything else is concerned. I think both Strider and Vamp are going to go through some more trial and error with their card texts and their effects in general. But yeah, these are these guys. We love them. It's so good. Let's take this token off. We're gonna limit Buggy Dog is what we're gonna do. Like that too strong. Get out of here, Buggy Dog.
You Buggy Dog suffers now.
But yeah,
is it Carmen Sandiego?
Don't worry about Carmen Sandiego. All right. This is actually again, we revealed a bunch of these cards last time. This is a placeholder image, as you can plainly see. King Hubris is creating this card.
Carmen Sandiego?
It is literally Carmen Sandiego. No, the actual thing that King Hubris sent me actually looks very, very different, and I'm actually very much liking it so far. But we had shown this card off last week as well. All the cards you see up here we kind of showed off last week, including, you know, like Apollo. We finally showed Fiducia for the first time ever.
Years.
We got of course, like we do still have like a Shuri here, but we haven't shown off Shuri's card quite yet. And we showed off some arts for some magic or trap cards we may end up making for Apollo up here. Do you see him?
Is he slapping his ass?
Yeah, he is.
This will be a good deck.
It's great. I think my favorite is still the up in the tree flipping someone off.
Yeah.
I think that's still my fave.
Hang in there.
But yeah, with all of that being said, none of the you guys can go watch last week's on the YouTubes if you want to get more explanations on all these boys over here, including the strongest card of all, Buggy Dog. But there is another card we can show off, another one that is somewhat finished that we can show. I think it's I think we can finally show off Shuri. I showed this art again, just like the other two in the Patreon post last week. This is the last one I showed in the Patreon post. We're gonna show other things that weren't in the Patreon post, obviously, but this was the last card that was there. We can finally show off the last of our little armament girls and their effects. And guys, I just want to say, I'm pretty sure this is the strongest armament that we've made so far. Not only in attack and defense and all that good stuff, but her effect is absolutely crazy when you think about certain things. So we'll get into that in a second. Here is
so far.
Here is. Well, we have to make one for all the 6 basic guardians.
Make a point.
But here is Gravity Armament Shuri. She is a dinosaur. She does her dinosaur
Yeah.
thing. You also will
Yeah.
note that we took away all the Union text in this. I'm going to be making the Union keyword into its own kind of thing pretty soon, so that none of the Union monsters, even like old Union monsters, would have to actually have the Union text on them that shows like, oh, you can equip this card or unequip this card. Whenever this card will be destroyed, destroy the other card, yada, yada, yada. None of that stuff has to actually be on the card text now. We're going to make that into like a keyword thing to put on the side, kind of like how we do in Zelda, where like we have like all of the things you guys can do off to the side, you know? So that's going to be something we do. However, Gravity Armament Shuri has some pretty good stuff going for her. First off, she's a 2000 defense monster, so that's just really good.
Yeah.
Second off, during your main phase, you may stack any number of cards in your hand on top of this card face up. We're doing the stacking mechanic, the same thing that comes from the thriller archetype, which I do think is going to show some a bit of a synergy with your and Jake's characters if you guys ever do a tag duel, because I'm going to be making some of the thriller cards work with certain stacked cards, so that's going to be pretty fun. But she gets a bit of the stack mechanic. You can stack any number of cards from your hand on top of this card face up. The monster equipped with this card gains 200 attack for each card stacked by this effect until the end phase. The cards return to the hand during your next standby phase. If this monster card, if a monster this card is equipped to is attributed for a tribute summon, equip this card to the tribute summon monster instead. Now, you guys may be thinking, why do we care? Why is this card the strongest of all the armaments? Well, first off, the stacking mechanic, you can put as many cards on top of her as possible. That could give potentially any monster she's equipped to with 1,000 points, which is pretty good, right? That's pretty okay.
Yeah, that's
5 cards on top, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
You have to think about a certain thing here. This card, all the armaments are made to work with their guardians. This one is made for Guardian Grarl. Guardian Grarl's effect is if it's the only card in your hand, you can special summon it. So, let's say we'll use Strider. Why not? Let's say during your turn, this is your turn. You play down Shuri. You draw Shuri. You play her down, right?
Yeah.
And then you use her Union effect. You're like, okay, I'm gonna equip her to Strider. You do so. You then you have 4 cards in your hand. You put 3 of them on top of Shuri. At that point, Strider here, he gains 600 attack points, right? That's pretty good, right? Pretty okay effect. You only have 1 card left in your hand, right?
Yeah.
What if that card is then Guardian Grarl? You then special summon Guardian Grarl.
Oh no.
You just have a straight up special summon 2500 monster as well as this entire big ass fucking turn. I love it so much. I absolutely think that this is one of the biggest things. And not only that, at the end of the turn, you get back all your cards you put onto Shuri. So you retain card advantage. You don't have to discard anything. You don't have to like play them all to like get Grawl to get summoned. It comes right back. I love it. It's so good. No one can tell me that this isn't gonna be good.
It's insane.
It's so freaking good. It's to a point where I think it's almost making Guardian Grawl too strong. At the same time, though, that's a good thing to have. It's a good problem to have. The Guardians needed to be strong. It's a good problem to have.
We're just doing them a favor at this point.
But yeah, there is some risk involved with this, though. I was going to mention this to you as well, again, whenever we got into the stacking mechanic a bit more. But the new stacking mechanic that I'm adding to the game, where basically you take whatever cards and you stack them on top of things. First off, it says you stack them on top of this card face up. That means you're basically showing your opponent every card in your hand.
Every card you have in your hand, yeah.
Yeah, you're showing them every single card you have in your hand whenever you do that. But if a card that has stuff stacked on it is destroyed, everything that's stacked on it is also destroyed.
Oh.
So
no.
If your
like
opponent
down, oink.
If your opponent had some way to get rid of your card at that point, such as an MST or something, you then just discarded your entire hand.
It's like, well, I don't need this anymore, I guess.
So there is a lot of high risk when it comes to the stat cards. That's why for Thriller Knight and for other things like that, there are going to be effects with it that that allow it to potentially survive getting destroyed once.
Just once.
But you know, that once a turn. But you know, with stuff like this, Shuri does not have that sort of thing to kind of cushion it. So there needs to be a if the card's banished, the stack's banished. Well, no. Basically, if you banish, if the stacked card leaves the field, everything stacked on it goes to the grave. It is the extent of how the stacking mechanic works. It doesn't go to the same place. But yes, that is going to be how that kind of is going to go. It is definitely a high risk maneuver at that point. But to get a free 2400 monster plus a potential like 1800 monster that can attack directly, like, because if you put this on Strider, like there's all kinds of good things that would come from it. It's high risk, high reward. I love it.
Yeah.
Absolutely fantastic. Unless they're against Darklaw. That's the one thing that I will say with a lot of things, Ryder. You kind of bring up a big point that I've been wanting to say for a lot of people who are like talking in like the Yu-Gi-Oh chats and stuff like that. A lot of archetypes just aren't going to be in this game. Like, and it's not because I'm specifically targeting them to like not be in the game, but it is definitely a thing of like whenever people do bring up oh, this card is great except that this card exists, that card might not exist. That card or that archetype might not be in 5DARPS. So things like that. Yeah, things like that like don't really, in my opinion, they don't really take down the power of cards because like, you know, if the problem is a certain card exists, so this card can exist, I probably just either won't think to put that card in, or I might actively not put that card in. So and again, this isn't a call out for you, Ryder, but it is something that I have been noticing lately as some people talking in the chats. So I just wanted to bring that up while I had the chance to. But yeah, we got some neato burrito cards here. Pretty good. I think there's a couple more I can show. Tell that to Konami. That's the thing. I don't have to.
They're already taking everything from us. We don't have to tell them anything. They'll just send their spies.
They're just gonna come and take all my things. That's just how things.
Which one of you is a snitch?
Oh man. But so there's a couple more things we can show off today. I wanted to show off a couple of more cards that we have somewhat potentially completed. 3 of them in particular, I believe, are going to be good. However, only 2 of them are new arts, and we may show off just like some art behind some certain cards as well. So we'll get into that in just a moment. But because we have you here, I may end up wanting to show off another card, but that's going to be up to Krabozy if he wants to let me do that.
Oh my.
The newest card that was created by Krabozy. Because you're here, I may show that off because it's going to be your card. But you have to talk to Krabozy about that. Krabozy has to give final
Krabozy,
say.
do I have to beg?
You might have to beg. He says do it, but I think that's keyword for beg.
I can beg.
There you go. Perfect. But anyway, I brought Apollo out here because we have one other Beast Gear World card to show off today. Another Krabozy art. Today's just Krabozy Central today. We have Krabozy Day. It's Kraboz Day. We have another boyo to show off. This one I believe is my favorite thing so far that Krabozy has made.
Yeah.
And that's saying something. He's made some really good stuff. But we have another Beast Gear World card. We have our boy Dipper.
It's Dipper.
With his little Akira pose.
It's Dipper.
We have Dipper, Drifter of Beast Gear World.
Yeah.
I absolutely love him. He is
I just love the light just going through him. Just the shadow setting on him. He's also just a pig.
He is a Beast Warrior flip effect monster. on a flip, excavate up to 3 cards from the top of your deck. Basically, at that point, you, just so people know, when it comes to regularly excavating, you just kind of pick them up and look at them. That's what excavate means. From the top of your deck, and then send them to the graveyard. So you look at the 3 cards and you send them to the graveyard. For every card sent to your graveyard by this effect, your opponent must also send an equal amount of cards from the top of their deck to the graveyard. Very similar effect between him and Apollo. Apollo does 5, however, but he only does it whenever he attacks, whereas Dipper does it when he's flipped. And you can choose up to 3, so you can choose anything between like 1 and 3. If any Beast Gear World monsters are sent to the grave by this effect, you may then flip this card face down at the end phase of the turn. So, I gave him 2,000 points for a reason. Let's say he's in face down defense mode. Opponent has Apollo. Apollo's like, hey, I'm gonna, oh shit, I just made the thing smaller. Opponent said some weird stuff. The opponent goes, I'm gonna attack with my boy on my 2,000 monster. Then they attack this boy, and it's like, oh man, you attacked Dipper. You then choose, I'm gonna send 3 cards from my deck to the graveyard. Let's say then you find Buggy Dog, like you discard Buggy Dog with this effect, right?
How could you?
Buggy Dog is a Beast Gear World monster. This is all still during your opponent's turn. Buggy Dog goes to the grave, your opponent sends cards from their deck to the grave, and then because you sent a Beast Gear World monster to the graveyard, you then flip him back down. It goes to your turn. On your next turn, you flip him up.
Hey, hello.
You do the same fucking thing.
I hope you don't like having cards.
And then, again, let's say you discard another Buggy Dog. At the end phase of the turn, you flip it back face down. I love him. Dipper's so good.
Dipper is about causing ultimate damage.
Dipper's gonna be a key card in this deck. I think he's gonna be pretty good. Apollo, of course, he does it every time he attacks, but Dipper's just like, I don't have to attack people. I can just drift around. I'm kidding.
Oh, and I can just do this a bunch of times.
The only thing that I'm still looking at with Dipper is if I'm gonna keep him a light monster, I may end up making him a earth monster or a dark monster. But light also does work with him. If I do keep him light, the only problem with keeping him light is I'm worried that there's going to be too much synergy between the Beast Gear World cards we're creating and the Lightsworn cards. I'm wondering if there's going to be too much synergy between them.
I guess, but most Lightsworn cards have specifically like you have to have a Lightsworn.
Yes, but like there's also when they're sent from the deck to the graveyard, a lot of them get their effects, and there are certain cards in a Lightsworn deck that are key that usually have like if a light monster has this happen and stuff like that, you know.
Oh yeah, this is like and I remembered,
Yeah, that's one of the
like
main things. That's one of the main
special summon. Yeah.
That's one of the main things I'm wanting to maybe cut back on. But if there is a lot of thing between that, maybe Squeaky just makes a Lightsworn deck later. I don't know. If Squeaky wants to make a Lightsworn deck, let's let her do it.
I believe she has her right to believe and make whatever decks she wants to make.
Exactly. Just don't put Lightsworn in the game. Problem solved. Yeah, that's unfortunate. I might have already done that. So, with that being said, but yes, with all of that being said, there are a couple more cards we can show off. Let's show off a non Krobozy card this time. We showed off 4 Krobozy cards and a Lindo card today. I think this is the only Lindo card we're going to show off today. But let's show off another. Actually, you know what? Let's show off a regular art card, a card that we just kind of took the regular art for, and we're just kind of flowing with it, because it's going to be going into your deck. It's going to be going into a Thriller deck.
Oh.
Just like with Trihorn Dragon with Will, we have actually taken one of the monsters from the original Yu-Gi-Oh! And we added some lore to its card, and we added the ability for it to be considered a Thriller monster. So,
dude, here we love recycling.
We do love recycling, especially when Konami doesn't do shit with the things that we're trying to recycle, and they're really cool cards. We want to do shit with them.
I mean, that's what recycling is for.
Look at this boy! Look at this Serpent Knight Dragon. The original thing for Serpent Knight Dragon just called it to be a dragon created from the souls of a wicked knight, and that's it. That's basically the entire lore for it. We have we have made it a dragon created from the souls of the wicked. It stalks the night for someone to end its torment. If the one it chooses fails, it consumes them. And this card is always treated as a thriller card down at the bottom. This is considered a thriller monster, which means it can gain the increasing attack effect from Thriller Knight, as well as other things like that. It can be searched with thriller cards, things of that nature. And we're gonna have it have its own little victim card, because like we have mentioned before, or I've mentioned at some point, the entire thriller deck is gonna be separated between big funny magic trap cards, monster like big monsters, and the victims of big monsters. So there's gonna be a specific quote unquote victim for this card, as well as other things like that going through. And yeah, this deck, actually, we've made so many new cards for it in the past like little bit that just don't have art, that like I'm really excited for the thriller deck. The thriller deck is gonna be so good.
We'll get to it.
we're getting more and more stuff done. We do have actually two cards that are done though, that do have art. For the thriller deck. They're both Apollo. No.
We're just giving everyone Apollo.
Everybody gets Apollo.
Costumes.
But no, there are two cards done for it. One of them we've already seen the art of for quite a bit, but we finally have the card done for. Let's go ahead and show off one of your arts, Fomo.
Oh.
Wait, no, this isn't a thriller card. That's
No,
I'm showing that later. Hold on, never mind. Don't worry about that card.
we made a critical mistake.
Don't worry about this card. I'll show that off later. I picked the wrong card.
We made a critical mistake.
I don't know why. I decided to show that off. We do have another thing, which is again one of your arts I do want to show. It wasn't that. We've already seen that art. But we'll show that off later. I wanted to show off another card with Will stuff, but apparently I get tongue tied, and we don't need to know. We're good.
No, shut.
We're good. We're fine.
Yeah,
Everything's fine.
We're fine. All right. Anyway.
Don't worry about that card, guys. Anyway, the actual thriller card we're gonna show. This one is a Krabozy card. We'll talk about Yes Science later, guys. Don't worry about Yes Science. Maybe we'll actually, because we showed that off, maybe we'll actually talk about Yes Science. Give us a bit. Maybe we'll show it off.
Yeah, listen, we're kind of having a moment, all right?
But there is one other card we can show off, and we had just gained the ability to, because our boy Krabozy was like, go ahead, and then gave us a wink. So let's go ahead and show that off. The newest card that he has given me stuff for, which I think is super neato. We got the pepped up idol.
There she is.
Look at her.
She's so happy to be. Do not look in the background.
Don't worry about.
Not look at the. She's just so happy to be here.
There we go. We have pepped up idol. Pepped up idol is she's a little cute cheerleader card. She's great. If this card is used as a synchro material for a beast or a thriller synchro monster, that monster is unaffected by your opponent's card effects until your next standby phase. It's a really strong effect, to be fair. But this is an art made by Krabozy. She's doing good. Don't worry about anything else.
Don't worry about it.
Don't
even think about it.
Honestly, you know what? I feel like it's detracting from the card. Let's just.
Yeah, I feel like
Yeah, let's just do that. There we go. Perfect.
Well,
it's not like this card. It's not like this card is.
Ignore this part too.
It's not like this card is a beast card, which means it's probably meaning more another creature in the card than instead of her. You know what? That doesn't need to be seen either.
Yeah, we were good.
Or you know what? That can be seen. Hold on. That can definitely be seen. I got a better idea. I got an idea. Hold on.
I'll get one better for you. I'll do one better.
There we go. And there we go. Perfect. We did it.
This card is fixed, boy.
We fixed it. You besmirched my art, says Krabozy. All right. Krabozy getting onto us. We need to get rid of it. Here we go. Here we go. This
Are
is.
you saying she's not best?
There we go. There we go.
Please don't kill us.
There we go.
Please don't
Perfect.
kill
Perfect. We did it. She's cheering during a blood moon. She deserves what she gets. Yeah, she has a pretty good defense number. She got you know, she can be thrown out and get some 1500 defense. That's pretty okay. She's gonna be tied to this boy who we have the card done for this boy. The card is done. The art is not done yet. I only have the in progress art right now, but that's just because Will's busy. Will's got other things to do.
Will's going for some stuff.
Yeah, Will's busy right now. So we'll hopefully get it before the actual game starts. But we do have the actual card done. It has placeholder art for now. We might show that next week. Who's to say? Depends on how things go. But yeah, we have Pepped Up Idol here. She's gonna be one of 3 victim cards that are gonna be like your early game little victims of the thriller cards. We're working on some other ones. Look at it. Of course, Will is drawing the monster. Of course, Will is drawing the monster. Why would I not have Will draw the monster? I love Will's monsters.
What kind of question is that? What do you think we are?
Again, we have the work in progress art of the monster, but I would not show that without Will's permission.
Never.
Da-da-da-da. Plot twist: the creature in the background is a horny axe lady. Yeah, it's just Shuri. It's fine. Creature in the background is just Shuri, man. Don't worry about it.
She's just wearing like a big cosplayer, like goofy arms. It's fine.
She's just ready to go, man.
Yeah.
You can't get in her way. She ready to get pepped up, if you know what I mean. Let's not worry about that anymore. Again, we showed this card off, so we might as well go into it. You guys have already seen the art, I'm pretty sure, of this card. But this is a fomal art card. This is yes, science.
Science.
I love it. Look at it. Look at the little tiny volcano.
little volcano.
Little tiny volcano. You ready to go? Yes, science. Whenever a non-slime monster on your field is destroyed, create a essence vial card in your spell and trap card zone, depending on the monster's type. If you do not have room, then destroy one spell or trap card on your field and then create the essence vial. If you ever make an essence vial of a type you already have on the field, you can stack a new copy of that card on top of it to be used as normal. If this card will be destroyed, you can destroy one essence vial instead. This is the key card in Will's deck. Will is going to be stacking so many essence vials on his spell and trap card zone, he is never going to get to play magic and trap cards, like, ever.
Just period.
However, with this card, he can hope to just stack them on top of each other and use them later. He can hope to just kind of get them going that way. So that's gonna be fun. Oh, this is a non-slime thing, Ryder. This is for non-slime monsters, not slime monsters. But the secondary effect is still gonna come into effect. Obviously, like any essence vial that's created, he can stack them on top of things. And the essence vials are things that are specifically needed for the ritual cards for Chimera cards. I can show off one of them. However, we don't have art for it yet. We don't have art for the ritual card yet. So let's say I throw in which one do I show? I mentioned this one before. So yeah, let's just go with it. Let's say we have this card. It's gonna be a little bit easier to kind of show exactly what the ritual spells need. But we have Tentacle Experiment number 39. In order to play this card, you require 1 Sea Essence Vial and up to 3 other Essence Vials. Once you use this card, you consume those things. With that being said, this card is used to ritual summon Tentacle Slime Chimera. You can also tribute a monster on your side of from your hand or field whose level is equal to 6 or more. Tentacle Slime Chimera cannot gain effects from Sea Essence Vials. So Sea Essence Vials don't do anything for Tentacle Slime Chimera. That's going to be kind of the thing for like all of them. Like certain vials don't work for certain creatures. They're just what make up those creatures. And the other vials give them extra effects. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it can't get the Sea Essence Vial abilities. If this card is in your graveyard, you remove it from play, and if you do, you can create a new Sea Essence Vial in your spawn trap card zone. So there are also going to be alternate ways to get the Essence Vials as well.
Yeah, really? There's gonna be so many ways to get vials.
And the vials themselves, I'm not going to show off Sea Essence Vial because we don't have anything for Sea Essence Vial. But we do have one for this. Currently, it's not on the actual card, but I can show. Bam, bam. This is going to be a different Essence Vial. This will show you guys kind of like what the Essence Vials can do. They can show what they can go. And yes, create. This is not add or put a Essence Vial somewhere. The Essence Vials do not go in the deck. That is something I want you guys to know exactly what it is. The Essence Vial cards do not go in Will's deck. They are created separately. So that is technically a new keyword we're going to be going with. Technically, they've usually only been done with like counters and tokens, but this is going to be creating a whole new card basically. Spell tokens basically. Exactly, they're going to be kind of spell tokens. You said he'll probably never use spell and traps. How's he going to play the ritual card? Let's just say he better keep his field free, huh?
Maybe he'll have to use his brain to think.
Some of his monster cards are also going to be able to destroy spell and trap cards, so we're going to give him some outs. But Will's is the most complicated deck, I think. Will's is going to be the most complicated deck. It's going to be great.
Will's doing algebra. The rest of us are just playing actual card games.
But here is the Elemental Essence Vial. Again, the art of it isn't there, but FOMO, I can show them the art if you'd like.
Yeah, go for it.
Hey, we do have art for Elemental Essence Vial. I just haven't put it on there yet.
It.
Exactly, we can just put it over it. Da-da-da-da-da. This is the only vial we currently have stuff for, but this is going to be kind of showing off what the Essence Vial is kind of made of, like what they're going to be all about. Yeah, look at it. Perfect.
That's where it goes.
Perfect. We did it. It's perfect.
It's perfectly scaled and everything.
This is the Elemental Essence Vial. Look at it. Look at all the elements and stuff. A vial containing the essence of a pyro, rock, or thunder monster. That should be thunder type monster. That is a type O. When this card is used to summon a Chimera monster, that monster gains the following effects depending on the number of vials consumed. You can choose the effects from the number of vials you are willing to consume from all viable vial types. So, it says viable types, which means that Tentacle Slime Experiment or Tentacle Slime Chimera can't use Sea Essence Vials, but it can use Elemental Essence Vials. These are destroyed whenever slime monsters and yada yada are created and blah yada yada. They each have different costs. Each of these have a cost of 1. You can get rid of 1 Essence Vial to create this monster gains the Fire attribute and the Pyro type. When summoned, inflict 800 points of damage to your opponent. The other cost, this monster gains the Earth attribute and the Rock type. When it is summoned, draw a card. And the final one, and this card gains the Light attribute and the Thunder type. When it is summoned, destroy 1 card on the field. So you can give these effects to the Chimeras. And the Sea Essence is, yes, the Sea Essence is Aqua, Sea Serpent, and Fish. Yes. Oh god, I feel like in order to explain these cards, I should show one of everything. These cards are so complicated, man.
Yeah, it's kind of hard if you don't have the whole thing to see.
Yeah, I'll show one of everything. I'll show one of everything. So let me grab the slime. Here's the slime, and we'll go through a turn. We'll go through a turn with these, because if we don't, it's gonna be very hard to have people understanding. We'll grab the Sea Essence Vial too, why not? And we'll grab Tentacle Slime Chimera since we already know that that's coming.
You know.
Perfect. None of these have arts, by the way, guys. We are still waiting on a lot of the arts for these.
Don't worry, we'll get to it.
We'll get to it. We'll get to it.
It's been a long week.
Don't worry about it. It's fine. All right. So basically, the way that the game will work with these cards, he has things called slimes. This is the unstable fluid slime. It is a Aqua Tuner flip effect. Search your deck for another slime monster with 500 defense or less, special summon in face down defense position. When this card is destroyed and sent to the graveyard, create a Sea Essence Vial in your spell and trap card zone. If no space is available, destroy one of your spell trap cards and then create a Sea Essence Vial. So, Fluid Slime is destroyed. Whenever it does, from outside of his deck, we create a Sea Essence Vial. Sea Essence Vials contain the essence of an aqua, fish, or sea serpent monster, yada yada yada. The effects of this one's actually kind of still work in progress, which is why I didn't want to show it earlier, but once per turn, this card will be destroyed by battle or card effect. It is not destroyed for a cost of 1. Cost of 1, when this card gains the water attribute and the aqua, fish, and sea serpent types, which is very interesting. And finally, cost of 1, this monster loses 1,000 attack. It can attack your opponent's 5 points directly. So that's what Sea Essence Vials do. I'm going to kind of workshop them a little bit. I'm still not done with Sea Essence Vial. That's why I didn't want to show it off. But it's basically how things kind of go with that. Now, let's say you have enough to bring this thing out. Let's say you have 3 other slimes, because this guy lets you get a slime, and you have 2 other slimes in your hand.
Here are the slimes. Yes.
There are the slimes. Look at them go.
Here.
Look at them fucking go. You have all these slimes. You have the Sea Essence Vial. Let's say you also have the Elemental Essence Vial. Something happened. Freaking pyro explosive slime died.
It was terrible.
I think I actually have one called like Combustion Slime, but I don't want to bring him out. You activate your Tentacle Experiment 39. You then get rid of your Sea Essence Vial and your Elemental Essence Vial. You now have 2 Essence Vials used. But Tentacle Slime Chimera here can't gain anything from Sea Essence Vial. So because you use 2 Essence Vials, you then look over to your boy here, your Elemental Essence Vial, and then you choose 2 of its effects. because you've using 2 Essence Vials. So you give it the effect of the fire, inflict 800 points of damage to your opponent, and you give it the effect of light, destroy 1 card on the field. So as soon as the boy here, Tentacle Slime Chimera, comes out, he comes out, inflicts 800 points of damage, destroys 1 card on the field, and has its regular effect.
Yeah.
That is how I already have a blast. I already have the Combustion Slime done, Dragon Room. But that is how this optimal turn would go. Now, more than likely, what'll end up happening is that Will's gonna have 5 vials on the field and no way to do anything with them.
He'll be like, fuck, hello.
Because all of his cards are gonna be basically slimes, and let's say they're not, and let's say he has freaking Yes Science on the field. That at least means he's gonna be stacking the Sea Essence Vials, so that's good. He'll have 2 other things on the field to like do other things, and that is where he'll be able to play, hopefully, his ritual spell cards, but we'll see.
We'll see how things go, alright?
What does Yes Science do? Yes Science basically does this. Whenever a non-slime monster is destroyed, you gain another vessel, or an Essence Vial correlating with that type. And then you can also stack your Essence Vials instead of letting them just be free-flowing on the field. But again, like we've said earlier when it came to Shuri's thing, anytime something is stacked, if it's destroyed, they're all destroyed. So, there is a lot of risk reward with these things. And just like with Yes Science, it says here, if this card be destroyed, destroy 1 Essence Vial instead. If he had these 4 stacked, we'll say, because I know that this is going to be like one of the big questions. If he has these 4 stacked and he has this Elemental Essence Vial over here, could he, if Yes Science is going to be destroyed, could he, in essence, just get rid of 1 of his Sea Essence Vials and keep all the rest of these? No. If he chooses Sea Essence Vial, all the Sea Essence Vials go. Because it is still technically one card zone. It is still technically one card. So they would all be destroyed. So the best option would be to get rid of Elemental Essence Vial in that case, to stop Yes Science from being destroyed. There is a bunch of complications with this deck, and I know Will is gonna love it. But it's also going to be I predict several losses just due to filling up his spell and trap card zones.
Don't even think about it.
Hey, a new guy. Did you know we're the Phantom Thieves? Ryuji.
That is how I'm guessing that he's gonna have a lot of things. And why I'm just gonna show off the boy. Here's the other boy, just so people know that I do have other slimes done. Here is unstable combustion slime. When this card is summoned, you can stack it under another monster you control. That monster gains this card attack and defense. When this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, create an Elemental Essence Vial from your spell and trap card zone. If no base available, blah, 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 Elemental Essence Vial. So basically, with this guy, you can summon him and then immediately basically stack him under another card, and then that card gains his attack and his attack and defense. So that's pretty cool. He's a pretty cool card. And then whenever that card's destroyed, you make an Essence Vial, no matter what he's equipped to. Combustion Boy is pretty good. I'm still working on his effect. I don't want it to be too overpowered. But that is the kind of thing here. Will's entire thing is going to be trying to figure out the final card zone, because like he needs to put something to protect his cards. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He needs to have something to protect his cards. I think that's going to be his last thing, is like, you know, making this final card zone here be like a MST or a Magic Drain or a divine something, I can't remember what it's called, or like any sort of counter trap card to stop things from destroying his cards.
Is it like Divine Punishment?
Yeah, there we go.
There you go.
And again, a bunch of his other monsters are just going to be cards that say, like, whenever they're summoned to the field, destroy one spell or trap card on the field. And he'll most likely use that for his own stuff, I think.
Yeah.
Or, like, maybe I'll make it to where, like, some slimes, like, some higher level slimes can have, like, a cost associated with them. Like, oh, you can special summon this 6-star slime, but in order to do that, you have to get rid of two spell or trap cards. So, like, you know, he's like, I guess I gotta get rid of my freaking Sea Essence Vials, but also I now have room to bring out another thing with the Elemental Essence Vial, you know, to play my freaking ritual spells, you know, stuff like that. There's gonna be all kinds of weird things that are gonna be met with this deck in particular. Again, the most complicated deck of the entire cast so far. But I think he'll have fun with it. Maybe next week I'll do like what we did here, and I'll show off some more ways that the decks will work without, you know, going into the card arts, because there's a lot of cards that are made that don't have card arts. So maybe I'll end up doing that next week, and just kind of
We're working on it.
We're working on it. We have time. There's no rush.
Don't worry. There will be cards of art, I promise, by the time 5DARPS happens.
Well, the big thing is, as well, like, looking over at these cards here, the only ones we need art for right now are Tentacle Slime Chimera, the Unstable Fluid Slime, and Tentacle Experiment 39, I think. Just so that we can get him to use his cards, because, like, I mean, I guess we technically see Essence Vial. We already have a vial. But
just
like,
put it in there, please. Don't worry about it.
We could, it's like whatever. Like, these are the only cards we're gonna need in the beginning of the game, because these are the only cards that are gonna be in his deck in the beginning of the game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, even though we don't have things for like this guy yet, we do have this. And if I wanted to just be like, you know, anal about it, I could just do the Elemental Essence Vial route. Just make a new Elemental Slime Boy. Like, I could do anything. It could be fine. But yeah, I keep forgetting Turbo Duels can't use field spells, because I was wondering if they should have a field spell to help free up their back row. Potentially, but like, again, like you say, Turbo Duels don't have field spells, at least, you know, normally. There are going to be some interesting ways to combat that in this campaign, but we'll talk about those later as well. I do have the three field spell or the three speed world cards done as well.
Yeah,
If
you
we
showed
look
those.
over, have I showed them to? Yeah, I did put them in the
You
chat.
showed them on the Discord. I
Yeah.
don't know if you did it in the
Yeah, I'll put them in here anyway. But I did show them in the chat in the Discord. But we do have Speed World, which has completely, again, I had to like think of how the effects would work in our game, and I changed up how two of them are gonna function entirely. But I do have Speed World 2, and I have Speed World Neo, all three already created. And the way that they're going to be going is Speed World. Obviously, this is the card that you just use in the beginning of your game. You throw it onto your field spell zone in a turbo duel. The only difference is I've made it to where both players have to do this, just so that we can keep things kind of understanding in the game, especially with the future mechanics I'm going to be doing. So both players will be throwing down a Speed World. Yeah. With Speed World 2, we're actually going with the stacking mechanic again. I've actually powered up Speed World 2 slightly. I made it to where it can have more max speed counters, and I changed up different ways it does its effects. But I've also had it to where it can stack over a Speed World card. So this is going to be an actual like deck card. And you gain more speed counters each turn. You gain 2 instead of 1. You have a maximum of 18 now, and you can use these effects with it. So it is going to have the stacking effect. So you can throw it onto Speed World here. But there's also going to be a way to play speed spells in regular Master Duels, and that's where Speed World Neo comes in. Speed World Neo is literally just going to be a card you can put in your regular deck to allow you to use speed spell cards. So that's going to be a thing as well. And again, Speed World 2 can stack onto Speed World Neo. So that's how we're kind of be going with the Speed World cards in the game. Hey, Will, what's going on? You missed it. We just explained your entire deck. I'm not doing it again.
Yeah, fuck.
No, I'm just gonna do it like the old school days. Just sit in the room for like hours when it's not my turn, reading all my cards.
We've been sitting here.
Show up.
We've been sitting here talking about the new cards, talking about different things. I've showed off some new thriller cards. I've let them know that that you're working on the monsters, and everybody's excited about that. And we have some work in progresses, but I didn't want to show the work in progresses without asking you. So it's up to you if you want us to show the work in progresses off or not.
You could show them off.
Alrighty. I'll at least show one of them off, because we do have Pepped Up Idol here, which is the one that is associated with one of the monsters. So we can show off one of the monsters. How about that? I'll show off the one that works with Pepped Up Idol.
Yeah,
that sounds
whatever
fun.
That means.
Whatever that means.
I'm always glad you're here to be here for me, Will.
So the first things first, I've already shown this card off, but every monster is going to have a victim, and it's going to have a scene, basically. The scene is going to be their field, like a field spell that kind of works with them. So for Pepped Up Idol and for the monster we're about to show, Thriller Knight is that one, because it powers up beast type monsters, and does like things for like beast type monsters. Thriller Knight is also the first ever like field spell that you're gonna do. It's kind of like the base level Thriller Knight card, to work with different effects and yada yada. But you can see the moon back there. He's doing moon things. The monster to go with these two cards, the synchro monster to go with these two cards is making sure I have the right one. Yes, is going to be Thriller Wolf.
Here it comes.
Here's the work in progress art
He's
of him.
The boy.
we're still getting him. We're still getting him done. We're still getting him ready. But he is the one that is going to be kind of back here in this. Thriller Wolf is a 8-star, just like most of them are going to end up being. They're going to mostly be 8-star monsters. Just so that we can go with the the certain way to synchro them out, because the different up cards like Pepped Up Idol, as well as one that's going to be called Pumped Up Jock and stuff like that, they're all going to equal 8 stars to like use 3 of them together. So that's going to be why each of them are 8 stars. So 5-star tuners, nope. There's going to be a 1-star tuner, a 3-star like other monster, and a 4-star other monster. So it's going to equal up in order to get the maximum number of effects onto a synchro, because every time these are used for synchro materials, they gain different things. Like, for example, Pepped Up Idol, whenever you use it for a Thriller synchro monster, that Thriller synchro monster is unaffected by your opponent's card effects until the end of the standby phase. There's going to be other cards that give other effects. So to give the maximum number of effects, you get 3 different cards to create the Thriller synchros. But as you can see here, he requires 2 or more non-tuner monsters to bring out. So he's a little bit harder to bring out than like a normal synchro. But when this card destroys an opponent's monster of a battle, stack it under this card instead of sending it to the graveyard. So if your opponent has like things like, oh, if this card is destroyed and sent to the graveyard, activate this effect. Nope, Thriller Wolf says fuck you to that effect. Those cards are mine. I'm stacking them under me. For every 5 cards stacked under this card, stacked under Thriller Wolf, he gains 1,000 attack points.
Oh yeah, baby.
And again, there are going to be other ways to kind of stack cards with them. Maybe you use fucking Shuri. I don't fucking know.
I don't know what you're fucking. Maybe things happened. It's a really weird tag duel that day.
It's a really weird tag duel that day. Sure, it wouldn't work for Shuri. Shuri's like different thing. Anyway, but he gains 1,000 attack. He goes up by 1,000 for every 5 cards he destroys. Or other ways to get things under him. But also he gains 100 for every beast type monster, or for every monster in the graveyard because of Thriller Knight. So he's gonna gain more attack, and it just gets out of hand.
It happens, dude.
Synchro monsters do that. Synchro monsters get out of hand all the time. But that is the three-peat for these guys. And we are going to start off FOMO with a tuner, but they're not going to have a Thriller tuner. They're going to have a regular tuner monster to go with it. So maybe they won't be able to get the full like thing with it immediately, but we'll see. We'll see how things go.
It'll work. Don't even worry about it.
But they're never in your hand. They stay on the extra deck. What do you mean? I don't know what you're talking about, Magi. You just kind of said a thing. Anyway.
You're just saying words?
So stacks are like Exceed materials? Kind of. But again, with Exceed materials, they specifically are used to activate effects. With these, they are used to fuel effects. So like none of the cards that have stacks under them, first off, they don't all have to be synchro monsters. As we saw with Shuri, like other cards can have stacks on them. And in fact, magic cards can have stacks on them, which is crazy. But you don't have a thing where it's like get rid of this card stacked on this card to do an effect, because that is how Exceed monsters work. These are more if you have stacks, then certain things happen. I guess it's the one of them is paying a cost and the other one is cost by effect. So Exceed is like get rid of a monster under here to do an effect. The stacking mechanic is if there are cards under here, this is the effect, or this is the effect by putting cards under here. You know what I mean? That is how things kind of work there. Similar concept, but completely different execution. But yeah, we also have another synchro, but we'll save that one for later. And we have we've shown off, I think, more cards today than I think we've done for any of these other streams. A lot of them don't have art, like we had said, but you know, whatever. There's not really a lot you can do there. The Thriller archetype has changed so much since like the original idea that I have for it, that I'm also gonna have to probably remake Voice of a Thriller, because the original Voice of a Thriller was gonna be all about like whenever something is destroyed, like you get their destruction effects activated twice and stuff like that. But like
It's evolved really quickly.
But like, yeah, it's like that kind of effect would have been cool if I would have put more cards, like thought of more cards to like go for the graveyard effects, you know?
Yeah.
but like I ended up using the graveyard effects more for the slimes.
So kind of funny in a way, but like,
But
like,
Voice
you
of a
have to
Thriller is
look
gonna
back and
be.
be like, how did we get here? But
I'm thinking that Voice of a Thriller is gonna be kind of a searching card. Because it's like it's supposed to be like the voice of a thriller is like either the voice actors in the thriller, which is obvious, but it's also like the open narration for like those old timey like radio shows.
yeah.
So like maybe we'll have voice of a thriller change into being more of a search card. Like, hey, if you don't have a field spell, activate voice of a thriller, gain a field spell, and maybe another effect happens too, depending on your field spells or something. Or maybe we'll give it a stack effect, or maybe it'll go something like that. But the current effect that voice of a thriller has doesn't work anymore, unfortunately.
That's what happens when you make cards, man. Things sometimes become obsolete by accident.
Or we can make it be to where voice of a thriller is considered Thriller Knight, even though it's not a field spell. So like any effects
Hmm.
that like need Thriller Knight or a field spell to be activated could like work through just having it on the field, kind of like how Tomb World would kind of be like a kind of feel, but not really.
I do like your first idea with the search idea, because then it could be like narrating their appearance. Like,
It definitely works that way, but like the one thing I'm thinking of is like, why would you use that over like terraforming? You know, like
Well-
that's where I'm trying to like figure out the balance here.
well, does it have to be a search for the field spell, or can it be just a general thriller search?
It could be a search for like a thriller card. That's true. That would actually be pretty good. And if we keep it a trap card, I think that would be just fine. Because like if we made it a magic card, that'd be far too powerful. Because like if we made it a magic card, just hey, just flat out search things without any sort of like back effect, that's like ugh. But if we kept it a trap card, like had it be face down and like flip it over and like maybe have like a once per turn, if you don't have a monster, get a search for a thriller monster from your deck. If you don't have a field spell, search for a thriller field spell from your deck, that kind of thing. Maybe that might be pretty cool. But there's still plenty of different ideas we can go with it. It all depends on deck balance, obviously. Because I don't want to make anything crazy in the beginning of the game. But at the same time, crazy is half the fun. So maybe we do want to make things crazy.
Maybe just like a little crazy, just like a little.
Maybe just a
spice.
tiny crazy.
Yeah, just like a spice of it.
A spice
Little
of craze.
Spice of crazy. Yeah.
I need to find out all of the slime monsters that exist in Yu-Gi-Oh! That have nothing to do with any of the slime stuff that's happening with Will's deck, and just add them to his starter deck anyway.
Like, here you go. Have fun.
It's just like, oh, here's Revival Jam.
Here's jam packed.
Here's Frog the Jam.
Listen,
Here's
man, I don't know
Amoeba.
what I'm gonna work with here.
Here's Amoeba.
It's like, how is this a dope?
Well, I'm sorry that your deck is going to be both very complicated and probably very underpowered until you get your freaking really good fucking rituals out.
Remember what happened last game? I started with like bugs, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we got to Naturia and things went like.
That's what I'm expecting is
Destructive.
going to happen with you. Like, your deck is going to be the most complicated with the most back effects out of any of the decks. And then one day you're just going to click. There's going to be like a perfect fucking like deck building. And you're going to be like, I've done it. I've made the deck consistent. I'm like, what do you mean you made the deck consistent? And then you fucking just win everything in the world.
You're just like, I did it. And then you're like, what do you mean you did? And then he just wins.
Hey, you got Golden Ladybug? We need to make like a golden slime. And just have like a piece of Golden Ladybug like in it or something.
You're right. That's the one thing that should happen.
Its effect is that it gives me 1 life point every turn. Just one.
Just 1 life point. Just like make golden slime while it's on the field, you just gain 100 life points at the start of all your turns. And it's just like, what are you
Like,
even doing
Hulk,
here? Like,
hand
why are
in
you
hand,
here?
man.
Like, make it a divine
Hulk.
monster. Ba-ba-ba. Hey, Blue, is Will's character a pervert because all the slime tentacles? I don't think so. Who knows, man? Who knows about Will's character? We'll talk about characters more later, I think. We don't need to talk about characters right now. Who's to say what Will's character is going to be like?
I'm gonna make Friska.
It's just gonna be a spider lady. It's just like
Yeah.
just like make
He's
Vriska from
doing it.
Homestuck.
He's doing it again. I hate it. Help.
Yeah,
Or
actually,
you
I'm
can
gonna
make
do dual character again. One side of me is Frisco, one part of me is Carcat.
I'm
listen.
gonna end you.
Or you can just make Shao Tucker.
Oh hell yeah! So, I noticed you like that dog of yours. Do you want to be with your dog forever?
Yeah, what the fuck?
What? I'm just asking if you want to sign these adoption forms.
Police?
Police? Hello? Oh man.
What seems to be the problem? He's making me sign adoption forms. That doesn't seem so bad. You wanna be with the dog forever? Okay, yeah, you're just creepy. We're gonna arrest you not for legal reasons. Just there's enough red flags here.
We
to
don't
just
we don't need to.
assume.
You're probably not doing anything, but I'd have to arrest you anyway.
I feel like we have to, like.
We have to do something.
Let's hope you don't live to regret it. Yeah, it's that kind of language.
It's that exact thing. It's right there. But yeah,
Bye.
we'll show off more cards next time. Maybe some of the arts will be done by next week. We'll see. There's definitely gonna be some things done by next week. I know that Lindo is hard at work getting some NPCs and things done for us. I know that King Hubris is working on something. I know that Kerbozi's working on something. I know that Will's working on something. I know Phone was working on something. We might get some other people involved in some things. I have Din working on another synchro at some point. We have everybody working hard to make sure this game comes out pretty well. But that being said, we aren't done yet. There's still plenty of time left before NetNavi is over. So we still have quite a bit before everything has to be set in stone. And honestly, if it takes a little bit longer than it needs to get everything settled, I think it'll still be good enough to start. The only thing keeping us kind of on a bit of a schedule is because I don't want to make Jake wait too much, because Jake is also starting off his game around the time that we're starting the other ones. So we're gonna be switching out every week. So I don't want to keep things too pushed back with that. We'll have to see. But with everything being said today, guys, we've had a bit of a day today. I did the stream of Persona a little bit. I may end up coming back later and playing some more, just to get everything done before tomorrow, because I do want to play some Mass Effect tomorrow whenever it comes out, because the Legendary Edition's coming out tomorrow. So maybe I'll do that. Maybe I won't. Is it out today? It's one or the other. It's either out today or tomorrow. I don't know, man. Probably tomorrow. But I'll see if that can be done. I'll see if everything else is going to be happening later on today. There's going to be 9/19. There's also going to hopefully be Will. Is there things happening today?
I wouldn't hold my breath because one of the players got vaccinated.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They-
I'll put an eye on you on the eye on
Yeah, they texted me 4 a.m. saying they weren't doing so great, but they'll see tomorrow. So not hold my breath, but I am planning to do something if that doesn't happen, because I don't want to put those subscriptions you said to waste.
Both
like-
can work.
Oh, thanks for the subscriptions. Now to not post anything this month.
Just don't post anything in the month that the people got their gift subscriptions.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But I got something that I've been planning anyway. It's just not going to be like... It's going to be a drawing stream, so look forward to that, because it's going to be
Hey.
fun, because I have it being little game.
Finishing Thriller Wolf the stream? Hmm?
Yeah.
Hmm?
Mm-hmm.
Hmm?
Mm-hmm.
Hmm?
I'm not going to do that on stream. I'm going to do that in my own
Yeah,
time.
I get you, my dude. But yes, with all that being said, my guys, there is nothing else to really show you this week, other than the things that I'm going to be saving for the Patreon post later on. I hope you guys have fun. I'm going to go and lay down, and I hear myself talking, and I hate me. I'm kidding. But yes, I hope everybody enjoys this. Show up over at Will's stream later on if he does anything. He's probably going to be doing some art stuff, or if everything goes well, they might have their roleplay. Either way, everything will be thrown into the Discord and the schedule chat, obviously. But with all that being said, my dudes, until next time, like always, later days.